This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cunningham. Excuse me. I'm welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And their birthday boy for today, September 3rd, is a Toronto Raptors icon. Well, he was the first big name star for the Toronto Raptors. I know you could say Sean Tabak or Carlos Rogers or even Walt Williams or Doug Christie, but no, it's the man in the picture. Mighty Mouse, as they call him. He was picked 7th by the Raptors in the maiden NBA draft. The Raptors could make players, and was kind of controversial at the time. So he played at the University of Arizona, and then he went to the Raptors, Trailblazers, Grizzlies, and Spurs. He's now an assistant coach with the Boston Celtics, and he's 49 years old today. He's Damon Stoudemire. So Damon Stoudemire almost went to Oregon to play basketball, but decided to go to Arizona instead. He was point guard for the Wildcats with their famous coach, Lute Olson. He was good. He helped Arizona get to the Final Four in his junior year. In his senior year, he was hoping to be the best and give Arizona a Final Four spot, but unfortunately, he did not do that. So he was just a pretty good player and all that for Arizona, and it was a big impact. It was time for the 95 NBA draft, and surprisingly, Toronto got to host the NBA draft at the Skydome, which was weird. It was like, you're an inaugural team, you're going to play your first season, and you get the NBA draft? Cool. So anyway, what a class the 95 NBA draft was, in a way. I mean, when you look from picks 2 to 5, they were all famous guys. The Raptors were 7th on the clock. And Vancouver was 8th. Well, 6th, sorry. Vancouver won a flip and then got to go 6th. Golden State took Joe Smith, which was a terrible move because Joe Smith amounted to nothing. The Clippers drafted Antonio McDyess from Alabama, but traded him to Denver, which was actually a dumb move by the Clippers organization. Jerry Stackhouse was drafted by the Sixers, and Rasheed Wallace was drafted by Washington. People forget Rasheed Wallace was a top 5 pick. Then Kevin Garnett. Minnesota shocked everyone by picking Garnett 5th. You know, he was from high school. The first time in 2 decades a player went in the NBA draft as a high schooler. Obviously, you can't do that anymore. But yeah, and every team had a power forward pick except for the Sixers. And then Kevin Garnett, Joe Smith, bleh. Antonio McDyess, bleh. Rasheed Wallace, okay, maybe, but she was better off in Detroit. And Vancouver took Bryant Reeves as a center. All right, so that's there. And now Toronto was ready and all that. They wanted Ed O'Bannon, who just led UCLA to the national championship against Arkansas. Against my wishes, of course. But anyway, everyone thought that Ed O'Bannon was going to fall in their lap. But David Stern announced Damon Stoudemire's name, and the fans were going ape in all the wrong places. He was pissed off and all that. The fans were pissed. But fortunately for Stoudemire and his sanity, if you will, he had a fantastic rookie campaign. 9.3 assists, 19 points per game. And made the Raptor fans forget that, you know, the Raptors passed on Ed O'Bannon. The Nets got him. And it actually worked out. Ed O'Bannon was a bust. So the Raptors knew what they were doing. Isaiah Thomas, who was one of the managers of the Raptors, he knew what he was doing. He was Mighty Mouse because he had a Mighty Mouse tattoo on his right arm. He put up 133 three-pointers in his rookie campaign, breaking Dennis Scott's record. That record would actually be around for many, many moons. The guy who broke it was Donovan Mitchell, and this was 2018. You know, Donovan Mitchell, at the time of this taping, is a Cleveland Cavalier after Utah traded him away. But yeah, still, it was pretty good. He was second in scoring among all rookies and led rookies in minutes and assists. He would win the Rookie of the Month or twice and won Rookie of the Year, just sneaking up ahead of, I believe, Kevin Garnett. But anyway, he did it. He actually is the third lowest draft pick ever to win Rookie of the Year. And he went 7th overall. The lowest is Malcolm Brogdon, who went 36th overall. But man, he is actually the shortest player at 5'10" to win the award. He actually didn't play the last 10 games of the Raptors' terrible rookie season because of tendonitis. Stoudemire would have a few good seasons, but problems with the organization led him to ask for a trade, and which Toronto obliged, sending him, Walt Williams, and Carlos Rogers to Portland for Kenny Anderson, Alvin Williams, Gary Trent, and 2 first-round picks. So 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. Nice. You got 2 first-round picks from Portland. Kenny Anderson did nothing for the Raptors before moving on to other teams. Alvin Williams was the breakout star a couple years later, so I guess that was all good. Gary Trent, blech. Although Gary Trent Jr. now plays for the Raptors. Unfortunately, he would have issues playing for Portland. Yeah, he played from 98 to 2005. But, you know, he was part of the Jail Blazers. That's a group of Blazers players who had troubles with the law and all that. Anyway, Stoudemire did well. He had a 54-point game for the Blazers against the Hornets in 2005, which was the Trailblazers record. Damian Lillard breaks that mark easily. In 2003, Stoudemire got in trouble with the law because he tried to smuggle a joint onto a plane. And unfortunately, he wrapped the joint in tinfoil, which easily can get set off by the metal detectors. Kind of stupid, don't you think? Portland didn't want to sign Stoudemire at the end of the 2004-05 season. They picked up Juan Dixon off free agency and assigned him Stoudemire's number 3. David wanted Portland to have a sign and trade deal that he would go with Houston. Portland would have to take one of Houston's overpaid players in return, and they needed money and all that. So he left, but Memphis said, hey, you know what? Let's take a chance on him. And David Stoudemire signed a 4-year deal with Memphis. Unfortunately, though, he would tear his right patella tendon in 2005. He missed a while. Anyway, Stoudemire was mad when Mike Conley Jr. came back as the starting point guard, and the Grizzlies decided to put him on the inactive list. The Grizzlies bought him out, and rumors were circulating of many teams that wanted Damon Stoudemire. Even the Raptors wanted him back after 10 years away from the team. The Celtics almost got him, but they actually wanted Sam Cassell. Damon ended up signing with San Antonio. It was just spot duty. So he became director of player development for the Rice Owls in university. He would join the Grizzlies coaching staff from 2009 to 2011. He was part of Memphis, Arizona, and Pacific. Like on their staffs. Stoudemire was the head coach of the University of Pacific before leaving for Boston to be the assistant coach. So yeah, he had 2.5 decent years with the Raptors. He was more known for his time with Portland, I guess. So in 878 career regular season games, he had 13.4 points per game, 6.1 assists. Not bad for Toronto, Portland, Memphis, and San Antonio. Playoff-wise, in 99 and 2000, he helped Portland get a couple of deep drives into the playoffs, but not in the finals, unfortunately. 10.1 points per game. Okay. As a Pacific head coach, he did okay in 2020 or 2019-20, but they never made the playoffs. So yeah, so that it just doesn't matter. No, that. So yeah. So Damon Stoudemire was the first star of the Raptors, and despite him being a better player for Portland, he's still a Raptor at heart for me. Fight me on it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond, a Duke.